Hi everybody, my name is Gage Long and today I'm going to be sharing with you this presentation I created on a contemporary business leader that will be presenting. So, the business leader that I'm presenting, his name is Dallas Long. This does happen to be my father. The business he works for is Bill's Logging. It's a logging company here in northern Michigan, and the job position that he entitles is Foreman Supervisor. The man here in this picture is my amazing father, Dallas Long. I chose him to be the business leader that I would be interviewing because he is a foreman / supervisor of a logging company here in northern Michigan called Bill's Logging. Bill's Logging is owned by his sister and her husband, who wanted him to move from Arizona, where he was an operations manager of a big dirt moving business, all the way to northern Michigan to basically run their business for them. Dallas has now been working as a foreman / supervisor for their company for the last 8 years. He has a lot of experience with managing, especially in heavy equipment operating, so this job was perfect for him. On this slide, I'll be giving you just a little overview of what he does in a day and just a job description of what he does. So, on a daily basis, Dallas wakes up at around 3:30 a.m. so that he can get up and get ready before heading into work at 4:30. When he gets to work, he preps all of the machines and starts working before all of the employees. When all of the employees show up around 6 o'clock, he brings them all together to have a short meeting of what they are going to accomplish during that day and on that job. With heavy machinery, there are a lot of hydraulic hoses that help move all of the booms and heads on the equipment. So with that being said, they blow quite frequently, meaning explode, and that's no good. When something like this happens, Dallas works with his employees to fix the machine as quickly as possible so that they can get back to production. On days that him and the crew show up to a new job, he has to do a lot of planning on where the log trucks will be going in and out of the job. Once they determine that, he will make the road with a bulldozer and any other piece of equipment that is needed. The reason being is because whenever the weather here in northern Michigan gets bad, the mud will be so deep and bad that the trucks will get stuck, and we cannot have that. So he needs to use a bulldozer, use excavators a lot of time to help create that nice, sturdy, firm road. Application of leadership theory. Long leads using the behavioral theory of management. What must this theory be, you may ask? Well, this theory demonstrates that managers should treat employees as important assets to achieve goals. No matter what, Dallas makes it known to his employees that they are precious and helpful in numerous ways to the business. He always makes sure that they feel like they are contributing to every aspect of the business. Dallas believes that through good teachings and good practice, the best workers are created. Before hiring employees, Dallas goes through a number of steps to showing the future employee what they will be doing. He teaches them how to operate heavy machinery, how to repair the equipment, how to tell the difference between tree species, because in logging, you need to know your tree species because some are worth more than others. Some are the trees that are meant to be cut down on that specific job. You need to know. You need to know how to properly conduct safety in the workplace. And he teaches how to be efficiently and effectively cooperating together. He teaches his employees to just be overall the best of the best, because with anything less of the best, the production rates are nowhere near where they should be. Dallas's greatest career achievement. A few years ago, Dallas alone processed over 200 cord of wood in just one 8-hour shift. 200 cord of red pine wood generates about $60,000. That's a lot of money in just 8 hours. And by just one singular person. On a normal day, he will cut around 60 to 80 cords, so that tells you alone how significant that 200 number really is. Before this had happened, Dallas talked to the owners a lot about possibly switching from being paid a salary to being paid an hourly wage. He wanted to be paid hourly because he easily puts in over 50 hours every week, and the salary would be paying for only 40 hours per week. So, after this big accomplishment, the owners told Dallas that he could be moved to an hourly wage rather than a salary rate he was at. This big achievement that he had made moved him to being closer to where he wants to be in life. How he achieved this accomplishment. Generating this much wood and money in one 8-hour shift did not come easily. Doing something this significant takes weeks of planning and strategizing. When picking up new jobs, there are a lot of ways that you have to strategize to get the best production. For example, Dallas had to create a map with the pattern of how they are going to have to cut this certain property to where it is generating the most production. He has to create a plan for every single one, not just himself. He also has to create a plan for everyone on the team because everyone is doing a different type of work. My dad processes wood, while other people will skid the wood, meaning pick it all up. Other people will group the wood. So there's a big process within it. Every day, Dallas leads by example, even if they are out on a business lunch or dinner. No matter what, he always shows respect and perseverance to show that his employees should be doing the same exact thing. A lot of times, employees will come into work unmotivated and are not generating as much production as they should be. So, that is Dallas's job to go in and motivate the employees in any way he can. Sometimes to motivate the employees who produce the most wood, Sometimes to motivate the employees, he will offer rewards to the workers who produce the most wood and do the best job in a day. The rewards include, cash bonuses, time off, more hours, raises, etc. The list goes on. So, rewards are a big thing because they really motivate people to being excited about coming to work and producing a substantial amount of timber. Handling challenges at work. Throughout these last 8 years, Dallas has had countless different challenges. Most of these challenges arise from the employees that don't have the best work ethic and don't want to comply with company needs. Through trial and error, Dallas has to encounter each problem that takes place a little differently. Some of his employees are fellow family members, so he must deal with them a little differently than those who are not family. He continuously tries to find a common ground between him and the employee who is causing the challenge. This then makes it to where he can cooperatively help the employee with what they are struggling with. Every employee is different, so he has to find different ways to motivate and reward each one. With everyone being different, you have to make sure that you know the way people need help. And with 30 plus employees, you need to know every single one, so it makes a lot of work. The biggest challenge faced at Bill's Logging. Throughout Dallas's time at Bill's Logging, he has had one reoccurring problem at work. That problem is having to deal with the owner's son. The owner's son has now been working at Bill's Logging for about 3 years now, and ever since he started working for them, He has been very unmotivated and just not the best worker. It has been so hard to deal with him because he feels that he doesn't need to show up to work on time or that he doesn't have to always work hard, etc. Dallas talks to the kid several times, but it doesn't always resonate with him because he feels as if he's untouchable because he's the owner's son. So Dallas has gone and talked to the owners about their kid, and they told Dallas that he is welcome to threaten to stop letting him work for them if he didn't do as he was told. Dallas does his best to motivate the kid every single day to doing better and producing as much as possible, because the faster and more effectively that they produce timber, the more money they all make. He wants to be a good steward to the kid because he thinks that if he showed the kid he wants to be a good steward to the kid because he thinks that if he showed the kid what it took to be a good employee and all the good things that come out of it, then maybe he would start to act a little differently. That at least would be the goal. Power bases. After interviewing Dallas about the biggest challenges he faced while working, I developed the fact that Dallas actually uses 3 different types of power bases: reward, coercive, and expert power. All 3 of these powers get used on a daily basis for Dallas. Dallas uses reward power during work to help motivate his employees and help them compete with other employees to produce the most lumber. He uses coercive power to show that he is the boss and can terminate any of his employees at any given time. When intimidating the employees and threatening them about termination, this will cause the workers to work extra hard and in turn produce more. He uses expert power every single day because he is constantly talking to the workers and telling them what they should be doing differently to be the most productive and most efficient. Impact of behavior. Dallas's power bases and behavior impact those he works with and everyone he interacts with. The reward power used by Long helps get employees excited to come to work and produce great numbers. I mean, just think about how much more excited you would be going into work knowing that if you produce this much wood, you would get a raise or a certain amount of time off or a cash prize, I guess you could call it, cash incentive. So it would just make you so much more excited to coming in and working your butt off. That sounds pretty amazing to me. I don't know about you, but I think it would be pretty cool. When Dallas uses coercive power, the employees get a little scared, which is not always a bad thing. When someone is scared to lose their job, they usually tend to work as hard as they can to keep that from happening. The expert power Dallas uses at work helps teach the employees everything they need to know in that line of work. Since Dallas is a seasoned veteran when it comes to these things, he can communicate to the employees really well on how they need to be doing things. Leadership style comparisons. First part is going to be about Dallas. After conducting the interview with Dallas, I came to the conclusion that he has a transformational/coaching style of leadership. There are a lot of good things about these styles, but there are also a few that are not so good. Some of the good things about this leadership style are that Dallas gets to personally train his employees. This is a great thing because then they will only know that the things he taught them, which are experienced things that he has done all throughout his career. Dallas also gets to help develop the mindsets of the employees early on by coaching them through the first stages of working in this environment. Also, he gets to promote motivation amongst all of his employees. This is a great thing because he can excite his employees to coming into work. Then they will all want to produce the numbers that Dallas gets. Some of the cons of this leadership style would have to be that when you're so focused on the employees and bettering them, you're focused on that long-term goal. The con of this leadership style is that it takes away from the short-term goals because you're so worried and working on those long-term goals, which, I mean, is not a bad thing at all because in the long run, you will end up doing better. Another con to this style would be that there is a high rate of burnout because some people get tired of helping people out all the time. And having to motivate your employees is not always the best feeling because you want them to come into work as you do and not need the motivation. So it gets tiring and it's tough, but gotta work through it. Leadership style comparison, Frederick Weyerhaeuser. Frederick Weyerhaeuser, otherwise known as the Lumber King, is known as the greatest lumberman of all time. The Weyerhaeuser family now owns his big business all around the world. Frederick used the coaching leadership style, which worked significantly well for him, as he is the greatest of all time. But as an owner and manager of the business, Weyerhaeuser mainly led by example. This was good because he could motivate employees to being as good as him one day because they would want to have that kind of money one day. They would see all the things that he has and they would want to work hard and strive to be more like him because they want the things he has. This style also helps mold employees into skilled, productive individuals and helps generate more people who can help coaching in the future. The downside to this leadership style would be that it requires an immense amount of patience. If team members are not willing to cooperate with you, it is going to make it very stressful to help better them. Another con to this style would be that it has a high risk of suffering if there is no team chemistry. Leadership lessons. The mission and vision statements for Bill's Logging are something that Dallas Long strives to accomplish every day that he goes into work. The mission statement for Bill's Logging is, "We strive to grow across the top half of Michigan while respecting the lovely environment we work in." The vision statement for Bill's Logging would be, "To sustainably harvest and deliver high-quality timber products while preserving the natural beauty and ecological balance of our forests." He makes it a point in his everyday to get better and better, just a little bit closer to achieving those visions every single day. While interviewing Dallas Long, I filled out a chart that would come up with a score of how he utilized his skills and with respect to an entrepreneurial mindset, and he scored 66 out of 70. This chart asked him to rate different aspects of 1 to 5 on how often he used them. For example, Dallas scored a 5 on need to achieve because his entrepreneurial mindset cannot let him fail at work. His mindset will do whatever it takes to reach these goals. Another example would be he scored a 5 on the need for autonomy. Every day, Dallas strives to be the best for his company. He doesn't strive for his own success, but the success of his teammates and the company. Every morning, he wakes up at 3:30 so that he can get up and prepare the day of work for everyone, not just himself. He goes in almost 2 hours before everyone so that he can look after everyone else before the day even begins. That is dedication, if you ask me. As a leader of a business, you should demonstrate some behaviors and avoid others. Being successful doesn't come easy, and here are 3 things that leaders should demonstrate every day to help become successful. 1 would be to be an active listener. When you can actively listen to the owners as well as your employees, it makes you a better leader. When you can listen to problems on a daily basis and automatically think of ways to overcome them, you are doing something right. 2 would be an effective communicator. In business, communication is key, and the managers need to understand the way in which every person communicates. 3 would have to be integrity. Integrity as a manager means you treat your employees with respect, listening to their needs, and making them feel as if they contribute to the team. The 3 things that you should avoid are falling into bad habits, letting others affect your work ethic, and getting too comfortable. Falling into bad habits is a horrible thing to do as a manager. If you do this, it is most likely that your employees will do the same. Do not ever let anyone affect your work ethic. Do not ever think that you should work less hard because everyone else is. Every day you should strive to be an uncommon person amongst uncommon people. Last but certainly not least, you should never get too comfortable. When getting too comfortable in the workplace, your production decreases and your spot as a manager is easier to take over. Reflections. This is my last slide, so sorry if it's a little over time. Why did I choose this leader? I chose my father, Dallas Long, because I know that he is one of the happiest people I've ever met. The reason this matters is because I want to be as happy as him when I am older, so I want to learn the most from him, so that I can go out and be amazing. Why did you choose the leader in the comparison? I chose this leader because he is very well known in the logging industry. Being well known in the industry, I thought that him and Dallas Long would have a lot similar styles and attitudes. Also, once I read that Frederick Weyerhaeuser was known as the Lumber King, I knew he would be the perfect fit. What challenges did you face upon the interview? Surprisingly, being my dad, it was hard to get the right time to interview him. This interview took over an hour long, and a lot of times I work, because I'm here over the summer, and I work at different times than him. I work usually during the evening, he works during the morning. So whenever he's home, I'm not home, and whenever I'm home, he's not home, generally. So it's just been hard to get that time together. What follow-up questions did you ask? During the interview, I asked questions like, during your career, what has been the hardest thing to deal with? How would you see yourself from one of your employees' point of views? And how did it feel to cut over 200 cord of wood in a singular day, by yourself? These questions really helped me dig deeper into his leadership. What did you learn about being an effective leader? I learned that it takes a lot more hard work, dedication, patience, and time than you will ever understand. I also learned that through management, there will always be problems, so you have to come up with the best ways to overcome those said problems. And lastly, I learned that it doesn't ever get easier. The better you get just means the more and more responsibility to live up to. Here are my references, and thank you so much for your time, and have a blessed day.